So it all started for me. I'm going to blame the parents. Pedal go-karts in a hill outside my house, I guess, coming down the hill on their little handbrake, made the round wheels go square. Just constantly, my dad and all my uncles and family have been into motorbikes and stuff as well. And we kind of went from there as motorbikes into motocross from the age of 13, 14. It's quite late into motocross. Just fun, riding with friends, riding with dad. A couple of races. And then started driving. I found a love of cars and motorbikes on the road. Yeah, it just snowballed, a massive snowball effect from racing motocross into road bikes. And then I had a job where I was a motorcycle technician. Worked on bikes for 6 years, constantly testing bikes all the time, riding bikes daily. Yeah, and then cars came along. I had a car and a bike. It was hard to choose between the two. And I got to the age of 19, I think it was, and got the car that we're sat in front of now. So, did my apprenticeship, served with Honda, and worked my way from the bottom to the top. Yeah, and it was a passion for engines and cars and motorbikes. Anything with wheels and engine I was into, you name it. Yeah, and it just kind of, like I say, just snowballed. We went from motocross to road bikes. Went through a few road bikes, and then it was into cars. Found a love of four wheels, started sliding the car around, went to an airfield. Someone said to me they were heading to an airfield for an open kind of fun day, like a little sprint session. So yeah, I took the car along. That's when I found out that rear-wheel drive cars were very fun, and we started going sideways. Yeah, that was it really, and then it's just been a case of ploughing money into it and trying to compete and, you know, work your way up the ranks. Yeah, so it came to it's 2010 or 11, I think. A friend of mine started a race series called the Fueltopia Barrel Sprint. And it was kind of, you arrive and drive, and you can come in your road legal car, turn up, you pay your money, and you have a full day of racing, which is brilliant. You know, it's great value for money, great fun. You're with your friends. Yeah, and I did all right at that. Started having a go, competing throughout the year. Got a couple of trophies, finished in the top three, majority of the time. And I've kind of found out it's fun and it's low speed car control. So how can we make yourself, because the idea is to be quickest across the course. You have 3 barrels and you have to spin around them, do a 360 on each barrel against the clock. So you start and then you'll stop, and it gives you a printed out time. So it's all about getting that power down, the grip, the speed. So of course, when, you know, as a lad, you get competitive. No offence, ladies are competitive as well. And then we started putting money into the car, tyres, suspension, you know, and you kind of little stepping stones moving forward. Yeah, so on the weekends, it was difficult for me on the weekends because I used to have to work on Saturdays because obviously people are out on the motorbikes having fun. So Saturday was a busy day for us. So I couldn't do what I do now if I was still in that job. So it kind of, I feel everything happens for a reason, and we had a recession, the recession hit, and the first thing to sell was a motorcycle in the garage. So they put us down to 3-day weeks. And I couldn't cope, I couldn't live on 3 days money, you know. I don't think the majority of people can. So I had to jump ship and left, took the decision to leave a job I was in for since I was 15. So it's quite scary really, because that's all I know and all I'd done. And luckily enough, my dad said to me, you can come and work with us. There's a small building firm. And I went along, and here I am now. So with drifting, basically drifting is, it's like controlling an out of control car. So you send the car sideways, and then you hold the drift. From when you start, you hold the drift through numerous corners, whether you're on the throttle, on the handbrake, on the foot brake, and you're steering constantly. It's really hard to explain, but when you show someone or take someone out, the reaction for me is priceless. That's still to this day, I get enjoyment taking people out who've never been in the car before sideways, because they're immediately, it's completely alien to all your senses. You shouldn't be doing it in the car, but it happens, and it's awesome. I had a friend of mine who knew of an event coming up, and it's called Gymkhana Grid, and he's constantly been pushing me, saying you should do this, you should do that. And still to this day, he is now my manager at Monster, and it's quite ironic here how from day one he was pushing me and saying you need to get to this event, you need to go to this event, like try this, do this, trying to just get me to do things and get out there, and just trying to get me to get started really. So it is thanks to him as well, how it's all kind of come about, for pushing me so much and getting my bum into gear. So it's called Gymkhana Grid, and we turned up on the morning, and I was quite overwhelmed because the amount of cars, the calibre of cars were unreal. There's all British Drift Championship spec cars, and I was very underpowered, and the spec of my car was very minor compared to theirs. But that was a qualifier. That was actually at Silverstone. I actually went on to win that event, which then they invited me to the finals, the European finals. We had a couple of rounds across Europe for qualifiers, and then all the finalists come together in a big final. So yeah, I managed to win that, and I was actually representing England as such, because this qualifier was at Silverstone. And they had one in Germany, and across Europe. So yeah, we went on to the finals that year. It was in October, and I finished second. So against some decent drivers, which I shocked myself, to be honest. It was quite exciting to see. I was very much the underdog. And with everything, obviously it's just snowballs, and from then I kind of just been driving. And it got to a point then where I was like, right, this is fun, I really enjoy it. But with any kind of motorsport, you're constantly trying to push the boundaries with your car, so you need to be putting money and development into your car. Well, this has got to a turning point for me where I was like, I need to take that jump now. The car's going to go from being road legal to being more competitive. Roll cage was needed, fire extinguishers, seats, harnesses, new suspension, hubs on the car, all the control arms throughout the car. So you do spend it's a couple of £1,000s. It has a knock-on effect. I was having fun doing what I was doing, found out, yeah, okay, I'm pretty good at it as well. I wanted to chase my dreams, I wanted to carry on. In the first year competing in the British Drift Championship, I remember turning up to the first event with a smile on my face and quite confident, but deep down I was absolutely pissing myself because I was so nervous, and I actually thought to myself, am I out of my depth? And that was just a semi-pro class. Yeah, so we turned up to the first round at the British Drift Championship, which was down on Linden Hill, which is one of my favourite tracks. I absolutely love it. It's a high speed, you're coming down a hill and it's so fast. Yeah, and I kind of did the first event and was a bit, finished mid-pack. Obviously you always want to do better, as a competitor I want to win all the time. And we just moved forward, did a couple of different events that year, kept with the barrel sprint, to keep, any bit of driving I was doing, I was there. Yeah, so the idea that year, for the first year of drifting, we got told that we had a chance to go and drift on Silverstone. Not everybody gets the opportunity to go and drift on the Silverstone circuit. So for me, having had the conversation with my dad 2 or 3 years previous, sat in the grandstand saying, do you fancy doing it? And to actually get given the opportunity to go and do it, I thought that my whole aim that year was to get onto Silverstone. And to be eligible to do that, I had to be top 4, top 5 in the championship at that time to get invited. So to qualify first, and I think I finished 5th or 6th, it moved me up this table enough to get invited to go to Silverstone. So for me, that was a very proud moment, and to get invited to go onto Silverstone circuit, I always remember lining up and just being like, wow. Formula 1 cars go around here, like Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, you know, legends. I was like, this is amazing. And they're letting me and my street legal drift car go and leave some time marks. Yeah, so obviously with 3 months energy, the opportunities I've got have been amazing. Yeah, just sometimes, you know, I have to pinch myself, and I'm often driving along to the event thinking, how have I got here, you know? And for me, a highlight as well was having a phone call saying, can you attend some rallycross events? So yeah, so go and do some drift demonstrations. So, oh yeah, no worries, of course. But yeah, it's when you actually get there and you're looking at the cars and the drivers, and you've got Pet Solberg, who's like world rally champion and stuff, and you've got Ken Block and, like I say, Liam Duran, X Games gold medalist, and you're on first name terms with them now, and you know, it's quite surreal. You're walking past them, they're having a chat with you, and they know who you are, and obviously I know who they are. It kind of goes without saying. So it's got to that point now where I'm like, wow, this is pretty amazing. Yeah, I'm walking around with a smile on my face. And then I'm going to go and do a drift demo as well. So I'm having fun with the lads and get given the circuit to go and do some drifting on as well, so in the breaks, which is amazing. You know, obviously throughout the whole season and stuff, I've been drifting in the British Drift Championship. I've continued to do as much as I can for the Fueltopia Barrel Sprint, still attending the rounds and stuff, because it's seat time, it's valuable seat time. And it's a great feeder series to Gymkhana, you know, your stepping stones. So you turn up, arrive and drive on your barrel sprint, and then you can move on to your Gymkhana grids. There's actually now another event they've brought out, which is Formula G, which is a Gymkhana championship. So I'm very excited to be doing all of that again, doing the barrel sprints, drifting the Formula G this time as well, so it's just getting busier and busier, and hopefully I can do my demos. But yeah, I was doing that as much as I possibly could, physically could, you know. And we went on to the Gymkhana grid qualifiers in Germany at the Nürburgring, which was another little tick on the old bucket list to get out to the Nürburgring. I remember waking up in the morning in the hotel to the sound of race cars, and I was quite amazed. It was brilliant, and we were so close to a racetrack as well. So I won that event. That was the qualifier, European qualifiers, and the finals that year were in Spain again, in Madrid. So we headed out there after winning the qualifiers by the skin of my teeth. That was hard work. On a massive high, we headed out to the Gymkhana Grid Finals in Madrid, and I managed to win that. So now I'd finished second, third and first now in the finals.
Really cool trophies up for grabs. If you can remember the gauntlet, they got the weaponry as trophies. We'll see if Woodham can grab it once again. They wrap it around that Samco urchin.
He's just got the lead once again.
That's a good thing. When you know you're in the lead as well, you can just settle and concentrate on what you're doing.
All right, seeing each car individually. Let's see as they come under the gantry where they stand. That's a real good indicator coming in. And Woodham with a huge lead over Elder. Woodham keeping it tight and right. We're at 49 seconds, but it's really coming down to that gap. Can Woodham put a bow on it and get the victory here in Madrid? Woodham to the finish. Make some noise for Luke Woodham.
Yeah, so now we're moving into 2015. Having come off from a massive high of winning the last event, which was Gymkhana Grid. So I'm now European champion in that race series. And it was kind of like, we need to move on now, you know, new season, new start, try and get the results in again. Same again, barrel sprint. Barrel sprint round's always the first one of the year, so it's kind of a nice little championship to get back into, get your teeth into. And it was onto the British Drift Championship as well. I can't remember the results. I had, been driving so much. But yeah, we were doing all right. And it was a remember a nice phone call from the guys over at Team Jatspeed, so competitors of mine now, because I've moved up to the pinnacle, the best group in the UK of drifting. So I was competing against these guys to get. Then I had a phone call saying, "Do you fancy coming to do a drift demonstration for us?" So the obvious answer was yes, because it meant driving and I love driving. So, and the best thing about the deal was I get to drive their car. So it was a 550 horsepower Lexus with a Toyota Supra engine. And it was at Carfest North. So it's Chris Evans' car show at Alton Park. And yeah, to say I had fun was an understatement. It was absolutely unreal. So we changed the geometry of the car and headed to Santa Pod for the finals. So very nervous, having won the year before. To go there, kind of all eyes were on me to try and, you know, retain the title as the European champion. So it was nerve-wracking, and it's probably the most nervous I've been, but I just brushed it off and seemed to be having too much fun to worry about what was kind of was going on around me.
Luke Woodham, like I said, I don't know if you saw it, when Luke Woodham left that tire barrel, it seemed that he straightened up right there at the end. He could have definitely scrubbed some more time.
Yep.
So here we go. Luke Woodham seems to be out front, in front of Danny Cross. Is Danny Cross going to take it to the top?
And Luke Woodham, well, we're seeing Danny there, but we were seeing Luke Woodham without his lights on. We've still not had any official confirmation that he's even got his eyes open. We think he's using the force.
Right. By the power invested in Luke Woodham, is he going back to back? Danny Cross comes out of the spin cycle. Luke Woodham, one more 360. He'll be ahead of Danny Cross. We'll see what penalties are assessed and who gets the rear-wheel drive victory here at Santa Pod Raceway.
Luke, the force is strong in you.
Celebrations have started, Luke Woodham. Well done, congratulations.
Thank you ever so much. I really struggled to see, I'm not going to lie, the lights and that are amazing.
You didn't have your lights on.
Oh, well, they actually broke, but yeah, anyway, we had to go over that. But yeah, I've actually won this twice in a row now, and I don't think anyone else has done that, so I'm so happy, And well done, Danny Cross, his driving is amazing. He's come on so far, so quickly, so.
2015 champion, congratulations.
Thank you.
I have a sixth sense of what's going on between me and the car. And I'm always a couple of steps ahead of what's going on, and of what, you know, you come to the first corner and I'm planning the third corner. Yeah, I'm just naturally comfortable behind the wheel of a car or behind the handlebars of a motorbike. Anything, you know, just comes naturally for me to be on something with wheels and an engine. You know, from a young age, I just find it naturally fun to be a bit of a hooligan. As such, to just push the limits and push the boundaries on whatever I'm on or in, just having fun, you know. From motorbikes, it was constantly doing wheelies and, you know, obviously on racetracks, yeah, just pushing the boundaries all the time. And it comes same thing with driving. If there's a space, and you know you'll have to, I'll drift. It doesn't matter if I'm drifting in front of 1,000 people, 20,000 people or more. You know, you could give me a racetrack on my own, I'll still be there on my own drifting. It's not that I do it for anyone else, I do it for myself and do it for the fun of it. So as long as I'm having fun driving, I'll keep driving and driving. So yeah, so for this year, 2016, it's come around very fast. Still kind of on the high from winning Gymkhana Grid, you know, the last event. I have a new car that's being built. Not a lot of people know about it. I'm keeping it well up my sleeve for what's going on. So that's going to be one to watch. You know, I've had this car now 7 or 8 years, 7 years I think it is now. Road legal car, you know, it's gone through, it's had a lot of hard work and abuse, and it's taken its toll. My car is quite far behind the rest of the other cars in the builds. So I'm looking forward to see what I can do in a car that's purposely built. It is going to be an out and out Gymkhana car, far more aggressive and a lot faster, because I'm still not 400 horsepower, I'm still 380 horsepower. So it is going to be well over 450 horsepower, all singing, all dancing. I have a few things up my sleeve as well in the pipeline, which are to be confirmed. But I am extremely excited for this season, and I cannot wait to get it started. To look back and think, would I change anything? No, not really. Not really. I think just what I've got to do myself is just be a little bit more organised about things. Now I'm, you know, doing more and I'm away more. I need to juggle home life and work and racing. I'm just chasing my dreams still, like, and I'm, you know, if you sat me down 4 or 5 years ago and told me I'd be in this position now, and knowing the people I know doing what I do, I wouldn't have believed it. So anything's possible. So if you just work hard at doing whatever you're doing, I believe it will come right, and you know, it'll come to you. So this year more than ever, my head's going down and I'm working twice as hard and building my car twice as fast, drive that 10% harder.